Nick Kypreos, Elliot Friedman speculating that the two sides are making ground. Friedman even went as far as to say it could happen as early as this week. I mean, this situation has been so interesting because nothing's come out into the forefront, into the spotlight, into the media at all. And to think a resolution in sight is just so great. Like, I think I just want to see what happens first, see what the number comes in at, and then sort of react.
Yeah, it's kind of the way it goes. There's a bunch of buzz right now. The insiders are feeding a little bit here and there, and it sounds like the wheels are kind of in motion. It would make sense that they want it done kind of by that All-Star game. It's just kind of a point in the season for the Maple Leafs in Toronto to kind of say, hey, what about this? What about this timeline or this point in time? And if they're not that far apart and they're starting to both understand a number and a term that's making sense, it seems like a big number, the ones that I've heard. The term seems even longer. The term scares me more than anything, the 8 years.
Really?
Yeah, like just
Huh.
it's to lock in. I don't know, man. This day and age when so much talent and such a young, fast league, and he's phenomenal. His numbers say he should be worth this. They're comparing him to Pasternak and all these different things. But it's just so funny how, you know, what about the knocks on Nylander? I'm not saying don't sign him by any stretch. Don't put that words in my mouth, but it's just there's probably going to be a time where, where he's had those lazy, blips in his career where he just doesn't have the effort. He's not really there. He's not trying. And now he is this year. Of course, we haven't seen any of that. There's been nothing but flourishing positivity about his play, rightfully so. But just in 8 years, is he always going to be worth that? I don't know. Whenever they throw that much time into a guy, some people celebrate and say, yay, we've got him for that long. And sometimes I go, holy fuck, what's that going to look like in 4, 5, 6 years, and you see that with other contracts throughout the league. It's just like head shakingly bad that you have this guy locked in for that long. I'm hoping that's not Willie, and I'm hoping he's hammered down and like this is his, not just his peak or his the top of his ceiling. I hope this is just where he can live for the next many, many years. And if so, and they lock him down for that, it's a great deal for Leafs Nation.
I think over time it averages out. I mean, they would be buying high. He's on pace for 45 goals and 117 points. Having said that, he's the type of player you just can't lose. Like, I mean, not to say they're in one in terms of a negotiation standpoint, but like, what else can you do? Like, you can't walk this guy to free agency. You can't trade him. And he's been incredible, and he's progressing year after year after year. He's improving. And I think he's gotten to that elite status this year where sometimes you have to bite the bullet. The speculated number is 8 years, as you mentioned. And I'm actually on the other side of the conversation where it's like my big beef with these Leafs players. The Leafs are the only team that in recent memory haven't signed guys to 8-year contracts. You look everywhere around the league, the big boys all signed for 8 years. You go to Toronto, it's like 5-year deals, 6-year deals. And maybe it's more of an indictment on the previous administration, if you will. But I think locking this guy up for as long as you can, I think is a win. The salary cap's going up. Like, I think the dollar value is going to make enough sense for this team in a couple of years. So now, obviously, they're going to have some decisions to make over the next couple of years, but I'm not at a point where I'm going to freak out if the number is 11. Maybe if it's over 11 and a half, I would a bit, but I think in the grand scheme of things, this guy has proven it. He's got out there and done his thing. And I think, the player's going to get paid here.
Yeah, and rightfully so. I mean, what do you ask for a player like Willie Nylander when he comes in as a younger player? Like, expectations are sky's the limit with the player like him. And look what he's done this year. He's taken a huge step. I do worry sometimes about those contract years. The guys show up big for their contract years, get paid, and then all of a sudden production goes down. That's a scary thing, but that can happen with anybody. I don't think you can lose him. Like you said, you don't want to unload him. Like, for what? You're looking for X. Here it is. Now you're going to move it for what that's available. That's going to be worth Willie. But my thing is, like, I'm always kind of scared about this team in the core four and how much they have tied up and just a couple of similar style of players. There's not enough, meat left on the bone to go around to round out your team. I think they're running into that right now. Goaltending, defense. Is this a well enough rounded team to go deep in the playoffs? Sure, you got some generational talent that you got locked down, but is that going to take you to the promised land? So far, it's been proven no. So I think we've said on this show, or I have, who I think needs to go in order to facilitate that, and I don't think it's Willie. So yeah, like the idea that we're moving forward and things happen. I'm just kind of waiting for the announcement, just like everyone else. Like, boom, this thing is done. Then we can stop talking about it, and we know he's locked down.
Looking forward to that, and very curious about the number. Like, he does wear the number 88. We anticipate it's going to be an 8-year deal. 11 times 8. It's been out there, 11.25. I've even seen people at 10.5. So I think that's the curiosity, but I'm just happy that it seems like we're getting a resolution. Like, the last thing this market needed was this thing to drag on all year and this guy to get close to even flirt with free agency, right? I just think Nylander has progressed, and it doesn't scare me as much as it does other guys, just considering where he's at in his career, his trajectory, how good he's been the last couple of years, and how he continues to improve. I don't get as worried. I know what you're saying about the contract year type thing, but I think you watch the player play, like, there's no doubt he's so talented. Like, some guys, like, not to pick on somebody like Sam Reinhart is having an epic season. Do we think that's sustainable over the next 7-8 years? No. When you look at Nylander and you look at the output, you could certainly make a case that he continues contributing close to this at least.
You'd hope so. I mean, there's
Yeah.
no reason to say not, and like no one knows the future, right? And
Yeah.
you're not going to get this guy done unless you give him the term that he needs. He's proven that he's not scared to sit out and to hold out and to know his value and not cow down and not say, oh, give him discount to just for what reason would you give a discount? Does anyone in the world of life give discounts to their boss for no real reason, especially when they value themselves? And then you add on to the fact that how well he's doing this year and how much fire he's on. He's only going to have the confidence to say, listen, I'm not gonna bend at any point in time. This is what I'm worth. Take it or leave it. And I think that's the position they've been in. And Tree Living's just got to get to the point where he's like, yep, and definitely understand that what he's asking for is not out to lunch. It's not ludicrous. We are close. He is that kind of value player, and we're willing to give it to him to move on and keep this guy locked up. And hopefully before All-Star break, they do get it done, and then we can kind of not worry about it anymore.
Make sure to check out more of our content right here on the Leafs Nation YouTube page. We got long form interviews, we got clips, we got epic rants by Jay Rosehill. We simply have it all. And don't forget, you can find out much more at theleafsnation.com. Thanks so much for watching.